One of the most common questions I get asked is bootcamp, masters, self-paced learning. So I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to try to tell you do this bootcamp or that bootcamp, but I want to give you an idea of what scenarios fit each one of those three options. And the first is obviously the masters. If you're coming into the field with no experience, no job experience at all, your masters is probably going to be the strongest candidate to help you land your first role in the field. Obviously, it's also the most expensive. Many master's degree programs are a checkbox where basically the companies that are hiring, I'd say over half of them are looking for people who have master's degrees or highly prefer someone who has a master's degree within the field. You can actually get away with doing a master's degree in something like physics or economics, but the majority of companies are looking for somebody with a computer science or a data science specific curriculum. So that's going to be the easiest way to break into your field from nowhere, where you have no real world experience. Are all masters created the same? No, not at all. There's two evaluation points that you're going to use for anything, any program that you go into, whether it's a master's or a boot camp, but it's especially important for a master's program. The first one is how much support are they going to give you in getting real world experience? How much real hands-on work are they going to get you? Is an internship part of the program? Are they going to partner with businesses and get you real world project experience? Something that you can put on your resume as 6 months or a year of tangible hands-on experience that companies really prefer when they're hiring. So look for a master's that's going to actually support you with real world, not just academic setting experience, because that's going to set you apart. And there's a lot of master's programs out there that don't do that. And you graduate from the master's degree program at a disadvantage because you don't have a whole lot of practical and applied focus. The second thing you want to look for is who's teaching you. Your professors should be either still actively participating in data science projects. They maybe are advisors, maybe they're actually still doing hands-on data science. That's the best case scenario, is to have professors and teachers who are still practitioners, who are still connected to businesses, still connected to the real world, because they're going to be able to answer your questions in a whole lot more practical way. So when you're asking about implementations, you're going to get real world implementations rather than sort of this hypothetical, general type of answers. That's going to be really important because when you interview for jobs, that sort of practical focus, applied real world focus is going to come through. And it's extraordinarily important. It'll set you apart from a lot of the other people who are applying for jobs. So check out who's teaching you and make sure that they're connected to the real world. And like I said, that master's program is probably your best bet if you're straight out of a bachelor's and you're having a hard time getting into the field, or you're trying to pivot into the field from something else and you don't have a whole lot of real world technical experience. Say you're in a sales job or you're in marketing or something like that, and you don't have a whole lot of technical experience. Again, your master's is going to be your best bet. And unfortunately, it's also the most expensive, but that's the reality. Boot camps. Now, like I said, boot camps are just like master's programs. And as I was talking about in master's programs, you have some programs that are going to support you with real world experience and are going to give you access to teachers who are still practitioners. And in a boot camp, you're much more likely to get teachers who are still practicing, who sort of do the boot camp on the side. And that's going to give you a whole lot more access to real world situations. And again, that experience that will make you stand out when it comes to actually being capable of doing a data science job in a real world environment. So boot camps in some cases are great options, but with a bachelor's and a boot camp and no experience, that's really, really difficult. So again, if you go from a bachelor's straight to a boot camp, or if you did a bachelor's and you did a couple of years in, say, software development, or maybe you've been a data analyst for a while, and you do a boot camp, check that boot camp out and make sure it's got a real world focus to it. And a lot of boot camps partner with companies. So those companies help shape the curriculum. Sometimes they even provide instructors. And then they'll hire directly out of the boot camp. They'll hire the top students and the most promising people into roles directly. That's really something that you want to look for in a boot camp. If you don't have a whole lot of work experience, don't have a lot of technical work experience, or if this is really your first time trying to get into the data space, it's important to have a supportive camp when it comes to professional experience and placement. So that's what you really want to focus on. Don't worry about passing rates. Don't worry about how many people ended up getting hired. Worry about like placement in companies as a data scientist, where it's not you doing all the legwork to get the job. It's them placing you. It's them being the driver for you being hired. And those are the important questions to answer around the boot camp, or to ask around the boot camp, not just from a curriculum standpoint, but also from, like I said, that after support to make sure that you go directly into a job. What you'll find with boot camps is the curriculum it's all over the place. There are the same cores that are fairly common across boot camps, but you'll have specialization, and especially in boot camps that feed into companies, they'll specialize towards applications that those companies are looking for. So check out the specializations, make sure they're focused at a company, not just, here's our best guess of a specialization. Now, self-paced learning, you see a lot of self-paced, self-taught data scientists out there. It's a good option if you're already in a job and the company you're at has a sort of career path for you into data science. They have a way for you to learn self-paced on your own, and then you can get promoted into a data scientist role. And typically that'll mean you going from wherever you are now, maybe into an analyst role or a data engineering role, and then going from there after a certain amount of time working with data scientists into that data science role. And so you can kind of bypass the boot camp, bypass doing a master's, because you have more of a direct access to the data science role. And you're going to have mentors around you who can support you and fill in the gaps when it comes to your knowledge of applied data science. Practical, real world experience and having mentors help you through projects that are, part of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis for your work. That's huge. And so self-paced in that case is an excellent option. You can also do a boot camp in that case, but really, it's a 6 in one, half dozen in the other. There's no advantage one way or the other. Just check out how you learn. If you like instructors, do the boot camp. If you are better on your own with a sort of learn, apply, where you read something or watch a video, and then you want to build and you want to see how it actually works and you want to kind of tear it apart and get to know it from a functional level, then self-paced is actually awesome as long as you have that career path into the field and the opportunity for advancement within your company. So those are your 3 main ways into the field, and those are the scenarios where each one works best.